Hello everyone, welcome to Botany optional channel for the UPSC examination. In today's video, we are going to see the Indian Forest Service Mains Examination 2017 paper 1 question paper. Alright, so video will be about the how question were asked and how we have to write the answers. Alright, so we are going to see the paper 1 of the Indian Forest Service Mains Examination of 2017. So let's get started. So as you can see on the slide, this is the paper 1 of Botany of IFS mains examination of 2017. Alright. So before starting the question paper, here are some specific instructions given to the each candidate. So you should read these instructions very carefully before you start your paper. Alright. The first instruction is there are 8 questions in all, and out of them are 5 to be attempted. Okay. There will be the 8 questions in all, but you have to attempt only the 5. In that, question number 1 and the question number 5 are compulsory. That means question number 1 and question number 5 are compulsory in nature and you have to attempt it compulsorily. Alright. The rest 6 questions, out of these 6 questions, you have to attempt only 3. That means there are total 8 questions. You have to attempt any 5. But out of these 8, question number 1 and the question number 5 will be the compulsory one. And out of remaining 6 questions, we have to attempt the 3 questions. All right. The compulsory language for the attempting the question is English. That is, answer must be written in English, and neat sketches must be drawn wherever required. That is well level diagram you have to draw wherever there is a requirement. All right. So these are the some basic instructions were given to you in the question paper. All these questions carry the equal marks. The number of marks carried by a question or a part is indicated against it. That means all the questions carry the equal weightage of marks, and the marks were given against the each question. All right. And sometimes questions were asked in a parts, and that part were also split up in the marks. All right. So the marks are shown for the parts as well. So here is the first question. Answer the following, keeping your answers brief and to the point. That means you have to write the brief answers and to the point answers. All right. So we have 5 questions here: A, B, C, D, and E. And as you know, we have discussed that question 1 is a compulsory question, right? So compulsorily you have to attempt all these 5 questions. Each question carry the 8 marks. That is 40 marks for the one question. 5 questions multiplied by 8 marks is a 40 marks for this question number 1. All right. So in a question 1, we have distinguished between the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes. As you know, the living world can be divided into the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes. Both have their own different characteristics. And here, straight away, they ask the distinguish between the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes. That means you have to put forward the point relating with the prokaryotes and how they are different from the eukaryotes. All right. Then there is a second question about the aflatoxin. These toxins are produced by the fungi. So they ask what is the aflatoxin and state its importance. You have to write what is aflatoxin and its importance. All right. In a C, we have explain the pigments observed in the rhodophyceae. As you know, this family of rhodophyceae belonging to the group algae. All right. So you have to write down the pigments found in the rhodophyceae. Okay. In the next question, they ask about the ammonification, nitrification, and denitrification, stating the names of bacteria responsible for the each step. As you know, all these 3 terms, that is ammonification, nitrification, and denitrification, are relating with the nitrogen fixation. All right. So you have to discuss all these 3 terms, and you have to name the bacteria which is responsible for the each step. All right. So so as to write this question properly, you should know in detail the nitrogen fixation by the bacteria. In the next question, they have asked, explain the developmental stages of pinus male gametophyte. Now, you have to explain the developmental stages of male gametophyte found in the pinus. Now, pinus, as you know, is a gymnosperm. All right. And it goes through the several developmental stages. In this question, you have to write down these developmental stages of the pinus male gametophyte. All right. This is the second question. And you have to remember this question is not a compulsory. You will get the choice for this question. All right. So The question number 2 is split into the 4 parts and each a part carrying the 10 marks. That means again the question number 2 having 40 marks. 10 marks for the each sub question. Alright. So first sub question is describe the algal phylogeny. You have to describe the algal phylogeny. Alright. In a second, describe the sporophytic development in bryophytes with the suitable illustration. You have to discuss the sporophytic development in the bryophytes. As you know, bryophyte shows the alternation of generation, that is sporophyte alternates with the gametophyte. All right. So you have to describe the only sporophytic development in bryophyte with a suitable illustration. And this question carries the 10 marks. In the next, discuss the molecular basis of plant pathogen interaction. That whenever there is a plant and pathogen interaction, there is a changes happening at the molecular level. So we have to discuss this at the molecular basis. In the next question, they ask describe the role of bacteria in pharmaceuticals, agriculture, and the industry. This question is about the application of bacteria in pharmaceuticals, agriculture, and the industry. We have made the video on the application of microbes in the agriculture and the application of microbes in the industry. You can check this in our channel list so that you could get the clear-cut idea about how to write the answer of this question. All right. So in this question, you have to write the role of bacteria in pharmaceutical, how they are useful in pharmaceutical, how bacteria are useful in the agriculture, and how bacteria are useful in the industries. All right. Moving to the third question, again, this question is not a compulsory one and you will get the choice for this. All right. So the third question is split into 4 subparts, that is ABCD, and each part carrying the 10 marks each. That means third question also carries the 40 marks. All right. So the first sub question is a distinguish between simple and cleavage polyembryony with the help of label diagram and compare the polyembryony of Pinus and Cycus. Now this is the long question. First we have to distinguish between simple and cleavage polyembryony. This is the first part. Then with the help of label diagram, you have to draw the well label diagram and compare the embryogeny in Pinus and the Cycus. Both these plants are the gymnosperms. All right. So you have to compare their embryogeny with well label diagram. In a second sub question, they ask enumerate the sporophytic and the gametophytic features of the coelom, comments on its systematic position. That is, you have to give the sporophytic and the gametophytic features of the coelom. Coelom, as you know, is a fern and it is a very important fern because it also comes under the endangered species as well. All right. So in a question, you have to write down the sporophytic and the gametophytic features of coelom and comment on their systematic position. All right. The next sub question is discuss the role of transduction in a genetic recombination in bacteria. You know, in a bacteria there is a genetic recombination in which there is a transaction happening. All right. So you have to write the role of this transduction in a genetic recombination in bacteria. The next question is characterize the different types of mycorrhiza with example. Discuss the role in agriculture and the forestry. As you know, mycorrhiza is the symbiotic association between fungus plus plants. All right. So you should characterize the different types of mycorrhiza by giving the suitable examples. Then you should discuss the role of this mycorrhiza in agriculture and forestry. All right. So next is the fourth question. Again, it's not a compulsory question. You will get the choice for this. All right. So fourth question again split into 4 parts: A, B, C, and D, and each question carry the 10 marks. That means fourth question again carries the 40 marks. So first sub question is define telome. Discuss Zimmermann's telome concept, citing example from major pteridophytic groups. Now you have to define the telome, then the telome concept given by the Zimmermann, and then you have to cite the examples of these pteridophytic groups. For that, you will get the 10 marks. All right. In the second sub question, describe in briefly the symptoms and the control measures. Symptoms and control measures of black stem rust of wheat. Name the causal organism and why it is known as the microcyclic rust. All right. So you have to give the symptoms plus control measures for the disease name as black stem rust of wheat, and you should give the name of causal organism who causes this black stem rust wheat. All right. So the causal organism is belonging to the fungi group, that is Puccinia graminis. All right. The Puccinia graminis is the fungi which is the causal organism for the black stem rust of wheat. And at the end, you have to write why it is known as the microcyclic rust. All right. In the next sub question, they ask distinguish between the lytic and the lysogenic cycle. Explain briefly the steps of multiplication process of T4 bacteriophage by the lytic cycle. So in this question, you have to first distinguish between the lytic and the lysogenic cycle, and then you have to explain the steps of multiplication in a T4 bacteriophage. All right. In the next sub question, they ask discuss the role of amphibious plants in the evolution of land plants. That means you have to discuss the role of amphibious plants that has a major role in the evolution of land plants. Amphibious plants, as you know, is a bryophytes. All right, bryophytes are amphibious plants in the plant kingdom, and you have to discuss the role of these bryophytes in the evolution of land plants. All right. So next is the fifth question. Now this question is a compulsory question. As we have discussed earlier that question number 1 and the question number 5 both are the compulsory question. That means you have to attempt this question compulsorily. Okay. So answer the following, keeping your answer brief and to the point. So again, this question is split into the 5 parts, that is A, B, C, D, and E, each carrying 8 marks, total making 40 marks. All right. So in our first sub question, they ask explain with example the different provisions of author citation. That is this question belonging to the systematics, that is the classification and taxonomy, and how the author citations are given. You have to explain these author citation with the example. All right. The second sub question is discuss the Vavilio's centers of diversity. As you know, in syllabus we have Vavilio's centers of diversity, where the plants were domesticated, and how Vavilio given their respective center for the diversity. All right. So you have to discuss the various centers of the diversity. In the next question, they ask give 5 botanical names of fiber yielding plant and mention the parts from where the fiber is obtained. You have to give the 5 botanical names of fiber yielding plant. Those are plants which yields the fiber. You have to give the 5 names of the fiber yielding plants and mention the parts of those plants from where these fibers are obtained, like a different parts of the plants, like a flower, stem, leaves, root. All right. In the next question, discuss in brief the distinctive flora of the Mesogyra. In the Mesogyra, there is a typical flora of the Mesogyra. You have to discuss that flora in this question. All right. The next question is give an concept on the inflorescence of Mosaceae. Now, Mosaceae is a family, is a angiospermic family, and you have to give a concept on its inflorescence. All right. The next question is the sixth question, and this one is not the compulsory question. You will get the choice for this. The sixth question again divided into 4 parts, each parts carrying the 10 marks and making it total to the 40 marks. All right. Now these 10 marks are again split into 6 4, 6 2 2, 2 8, and 1 and 9. That means there is an internal marking as well. All right. So the first sub question is discuss the basic outline of classification according to the principles of Bentham and Hooker. State its merits and demerits. That means you have to write the classification system given by the Bentham and Hooker, and for this you will get the first 6 marks. All right. And then after that, after writing the Bentham and Hooker system of classification, you have to write its merits and demerits, and for these merits and demerits you will get the rest 4 marks. All right. In the next question, they have asked compare the floral characteristics of Fabaceae and Asclepiadaceae. Give floral diagram and name economically important plant of each of these families. All right. So in our first part of the question, compare the floral characteristics of Fabaceae and Asclepiaceae. That means you have to compare the floral characteristics of both this family, that is Fabaceae family and the Asclepiaceae family. And for this you will get the 6 marks. Then in the next part of the question, give the floral diagrams, and for these floral diagrams you will get the 2 marks. That is, you have to give the floral diagrams for each family. That means 2 floral diagrams, right? And in the final part of the question, name an economically important plant of each of these family. That is the family Fabaceae and Asclepiaceae. You have to write at least one name of the plant from the Fabaceae and the one name from the Asclepiaceae, which is an economically important plant. And for this, you will get the rest of 2 marks. That is 6 to 2 equals to 10. All right. In the next question, what do you mean by palynology? An account of application of the palynology. You just have to write what is meant by palynology, and for writing what is meant by palynology, you will get the 2 marks. And you have to give an account of application. That means applications of the palynology in detail. And for this, you will get the rest 8 marks, making it to the 10 marks. All right. The next question is define ethnobotany. Describe the role of ethnobotany in discovery of the modern drugs, citing with the suitable example. All right. So in the first part of the question, you just have to define ethnobotany, and for that you will get the 1 mark. And then you have to describe the role of this ethnobotany in discovering the modern drugs. How modern drugs are discovered by the knowledge of this ethnobotany. And for this, you will get the rest of the 9 marks. The next question is seventh question, and again it's not a compulsory question. All right. So the seventh question is split into 3 parts, A, B, and C. First sub question carry the 15 marks. Second sub question carry the 15 marks, and the third sub question carries the 10 marks, making total 40 marks. All right. So the first question, which is for 15 marks, is write the botanical names, active constituents, and the uses of 5 plants of economic importance belonging to each of the families Fabaceae, Rosaceae, and Brassicaceae. That means you have to write at least 5 plants belonging to the Fabaceae family, their botanical names, their active constituent, and their economic importance. In the same way, you have to give another 5 botanical names from the Rosaceae plants, their active constituent, and the economic importance. And in the same way, you have to again give the 5 botanical names from the Brassicaceae family and write their active constituent and their economic importance. For writing these 15 plants, all right, you will get the 15 marks. The next sub question is discuss the different levels of biodiversity. Comment briefly on in situ and ex situ conservation of biodiversity. State the role of the cryptoconservation in the conservation of plant biodiversity. Now, this question is split into the 3 parts, that is the 6 marks, 5 marks, and the 4 marks. In the first part of the question, you have to discuss the level of biodiversity, and for this, you will get the 6 marks. Then, you have to comment briefly on in situ and ex situ conservation of biodiversity. For this, you will get the 5 marks. And in the last part of the question, state the role of the crypto conservation in the conservation of plant biodiversity. For that, you will get the 4 marks, making total to the 15 marks. All right. The next question is what is apomixis? Discuss the different apomictic developmental pathways with suitable illustration. Give a note on the genetics of the apomixis. That means for writing what is apomixis, you will get the 1 mark. Then for discussing the different apomictic developmental pathways with suitable illustration, you will get the 5 marks. And for writing the note on the genetics of the apomixis, you will get the 4 marks, making it total to the 10 marks. All right. So this is the 8th question. Again, it's not a compulsory one. The 8th question is divided into 3 subparts. And each part, the first sub question carries 15 marks, second sub question carries 10 marks, and the third sub question carries 15 marks, making it total to the 40 marks. All right. So the first sub question is what is meant by anomalous secondary growth? Give descriptive account of comparison of normal and the anomalous secondary growth in dicots with example and illustration wherever necessary. For writing what is meant by anomalous secondary growth, just for writing the anomalous secondary growth, you will get the 2 marks. All right. And for giving the descriptive account on comparison of normal secondary growth and the anomalous secondary growth in dicot plants with suitable example and illustration, you will get the rest 13 marks. All right. In the second sub question, they ask define botanical gardens. Firstly, you have to define the botanical gardens. Then state how it differs from the other gardens. That how botanical gardens are differ from the other gardens. For just defining the botanical garden, you will get the 2 marks. And how they are differ from the other botanical gardens, for this you will get the 2 marks more. And then in the last part of the question, you have to name 2 internationally reputed botanical gardens and discuss the role of an ideal botanical garden in an education. For this, you will get the rest 6 marks, making total to the 10. In last sub question, they ask about the write a short notes on the following. First is the micropropagation, their definition, stages, and application. Then callus culture, origin and application. Then protoplast culture, origin, merits, and demerits. For each sub-question, you will get the 5 marks, making it total to the 15 marks. All right. All these 3 questions are belonging to the plant tissue culture. All right. So I hope you like this lecture. Please like the video and please subscribe to the Botany Optional channel for the UPSC examination. And if you have any doubt, please mention in a comment box. Please share this video with your friends who are in need of such a knowledge. All right. Thank you very much for watching. See you soon in the next video.